Last game, we're going to take a trip back to Thursday Night Football. Commanders-Packers. Packers win this one 27-18. Top 5 graded players that we have for Green Bay at the very top of the list. Look at that. Edge rusher Micah Parsons with a 91.3.
Sure.
Cornerback Keyshawn Nixon. I feel like he got robbed. We got to give him the number 1 spot here. 90.7. Unbelievable game from Keyshawn Nixon. Number 3, tight end Tucker Kraft with an 86.5. Cornerback Carrington Valentine with a 79.1. And then wide receiver Dontavian Wicks rounding things out with a 79.0. Jordan Love in this game an 86.7. On Washington side of things, their linebacker Bobby Wagner at the top of the list with an 81.2. Edge rusher Dorrance Armstrong a 74.1. Defensive tackle Eddie Goldman with a 74.0. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin a 70.0. And then center Tyler Biadasz rounding things out for them with a 66.2. Jaden Daniels in this game, a 56.1. Dalton will be a little bit quicker with this one since it was last week, but Staff told the story here.
Yeah, I think first of all, right this minute, through 2 weeks, it's 2 games apiece for everybody. Packers look like the best team in football.
They do. Yep.
And I think when you hold a Washington team with Jaden Daniels and all the weapons they have, the 2 explosive plays, 0 in the first 3 quarters, I'll be obviously Commanders fans and people around it are going to go, well, what could we have done to win this game? What could we have done differently? I don't think anything. I don't think there was – the way the Packers are playing, they just were not going to beat them on Thursday. And you look at Jaden Daniels, like he was under pressure 48% of the time. We saw the Packers do this to the Lions the week before with Parsons and Gary and Van Ness and everything else going on there. Daniels only was 3 of 11 on 10-plus yard throws. Right now, and the scary part of it, and most impressive, Keyshawn Nixon, 5 targets, no catches allowed, 4 pass breakups, 90.8 coverage grade. And this is a guy who's only getting better on the outside. He's only been playing on the outside for like a year or so, right? He was always a slot guy before that. The scariest part is now if they're going to get big-time play like that out of their corners, out of Nixon, out of Valentine, Bullard in the slot, Nate Hobbs rotating in there a little bit, I don't know how you beat this team. Because Jeff Hafley with Parsons, I would argue the most unique pass rusher in the league, moving all over the place. You never know where he lines up. And then if Hafley trusts his defense's secondary still, that he can blitz when he wants to, even though he doesn't have to, and get creative up front, the rest of the league's got a serious problem with Green Bay right now. If they're the cornerback, we talked about it. Cornerback was the one position we still had questions about.
Yeah.
If they're going to win the battle on the outside too, good luck scoring on this team because you suddenly got playmakers at every level you could possibly want. The Packers look unbelievable on both sides of the ball right now.
And I'll also say reliability on the offensive side of the ball with the diversity of their passing weapons, right? We went into this year and they draft Matthew Golden in the first round, and they draft Matthew Golden because we talked about this a little bit during the offseason. There was a realistic world where the only receivers that were on the Packers roster at the time when they drafted Matthew Golden that I could have seen a year from now still being on the Packers is Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden and Malik Heath, because he would have still been under his rookie contract. But essentially what I'm saying is that Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks could have all been gone from this team. And now we're in a spot where Kraft, Heath, Reed, Musgrave all had receiving grades above 90. They had elite receiving grades in this game. Wicks and Dobbs looked really reliable as well. They were using those guys early and often in underneath situations, yards after catch situations, big first down situations. Dontavian Wicks looks like his drops from last year are a thing of the past. You talk about the diversity of how they can attack you on their defensive front. Jordan Love can throw the ball anywhere now.
And this
team is an incredibly difficult team to defend and play offense against.
This is my big Jordan Love stat. Remember how I kept talking about, okay, they drafted Golden, and at first he's going to be the decoy, and Love has to get back to throwing at the intermediate level. Jordan Love through 2 weeks has the best intermediate passing grade and the most intermediate completions in the NFL. Just wait till he gets it going with Matthew Golden, because there was 2 plays in this game. The 2 targets Golden got in this game,
deep targets, right?
Both should have been touchdowns.
Yeah.
There was about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns waiting for Golden, and Love missed both of the throws. And I'm telling you, you go back and watch all of Golden's routes that he ran, there's 5 or 6 other times. No, he's getting open. If we get to a point now where he can find that chemistry with Matthew Golden too, along with the way he's throwing at the intermediate level to Dobbs and Wicks and Kraft and all of this, this team's going to be so hard. That's the big stat for me. Number 1 right now in intermediate passing grade, when last year I think he was 35th or something. He was like one of the worst in the league.
When you get hit over
level.
the middle of the field, you you win.
Yes.
In this league.
But they didn't have Golden as that speed threat last year because they were obviously kept waiting on Christian Watson to get healthy. It was never happening. You saw it last year. Safeties creeping down. Now you have to respect Matthew. Even say the deep post that was incomplete that he overthrew him by like 2 yards. If you're a couple of safeties back, you have to respect that. You let that guy get behind you, you're going to lose your job.
Right.
So it's if Love is now going to play this patient brand of football where he's hitting those throws over the middle, good luck to you stopping this team.
Most impressive for me was actually Tucker Kraft. 7 targets, 6 receptions, 124 yards, a touchdown, 91.7 receiving grade. I mean, he's well on his way to a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro season. He is just having I think the only thing standing in the way is maybe volume from him having that sort of recognition.
All of a sudden, George Kittle's hurt.
I really do think that Tucker Kraft could have an all-pro type of season this year with how he has started things out. And then on the most disappointing side of things, Washington's defense, 43.8 overall defense grade, lowest in the last 2 years that they had against the Green Bay Packers this past week. No starting defensive back on this team had a coverage grade above a 38.1. Trey Amos actually had the highest coverage grade, but he was sort of the rotating outside corner in for this team, and he had, I think it was like a 70.1 coverage grade.
He may need to start here.
But the four starting defensive backs, the 2 safeties and the 2 corners, none of them had a coverage grade above a 38.1. That is an issue for this team, massive issue. What do you got?
It's specifically Marshawn Lattimore. No, you're right. If it's going to continue to be the case where Amos plays well and Lattimore has a 29.1 coverage grade, he was getting picked on from the very start of the game. Look, I know he's a veteran. I know you traded for him, but you got to put the best players on the field. I'm not saying you have to do this yet, but if Lattimore in future weeks is clearly the core of an opponent's game plan is picking on him, then you got to find another solution. And again, that's why you drafted Amos, and you really have to I think Sainer still is going to be better. This is a tough day to cover the middle of the field against this team. He's back in the slot. He's readjusting to Dan Quinn's defense. But Marshawn Lattimore, for me, was a guy that just got picked on all night.